Hello, beautifuls. Thank you for joining me. It is the full moon night, and I am in the forest at obviously a different time of day than I normally am. And today's video is a little bit different than what I normally do, and it might appeal to a smaller audience. So if it doesn't resonate with you, as always, you have free choice to check out and come back later. But I wanted to share a little bit of my story today, just in regards to the subject matter that I want to address. When I first started on this self-awareness journey, I was putting my fingers in lots of pots and really trying everything. And I ended up going for a shamanic healing. I went for a soul retrieval. And I was told at the end of it that, in no uncertain terms, I was a light worker. And I didn't like that at all. I didn't want to be put in a box. I didn't want that responsibility. I didn't feel that I fit that box. And so I tried my best to ignore that. As the years went by, I went to different readers, and they all would tell me that I was a healer. I was a healer. I was a healer. And I didn't want to own that label. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what to do. And so I tried to ignore it. And by synchronicity, I ran into someone who was a teacher of mine for a very, very short time. And the very first thing she said to me was, "Are you a healer or a teacher?" And she didn't know me. She didn't know why I was there. We actually literally just ran into each other. And I said, pardon me? She says, "Healer or a teacher?" And so I answered, "I'm a healer." And it wasn't because that's what I felt or I thought I was. It was because that is what I had been told I was. Boxes and labels. As helpers and healers, we are so conscientious of helping people see past labels and boxes and not labeling people or judging people by what they do or their skills or our first impressions of them. Yet, the principle of boxes and labels is something that's been ingrained in us since we were children. And so we might be really conscientious about not applying that to others, yet somehow it is still easy for us to apply those labels and to try to fit into boxes for ourselves. And especially when it comes to our work of healing and helping. And as of late, I have noticed a predominant theme with people that I work with and that I am friends with that are in the helping and healing field. And as the energy is changing, our gifts, our abilities, the way we work with energy is also changing. It's new to us, it's new to others. And for many of us, what we do doesn't fit in a box. And we live in a dimension that asks for boxes. And so we find ourselves sometimes in conflict with that, and sometimes scared to step into the work because we don't know what the right label is. We don't know how to describe or define ourselves. And yet, as our gifts and abilities change, each step along that way, we are complete. We are whole. And it took me a really long time to understand that I don't need to be a healer or a teacher. I can be both. I don't need to fit into a box. And the way that I go about healing and teaching does not need to look the same as somebody else and doesn't have to fit into a box. And as we are these tiny bits of the universe, we will continually be growing. We will be continually expanding. Our work will never be complete. But in each moment, we are whole and we are complete without the label, without the box. And I just wanted to, I was inspired, I guess, to say that today because I had an experience with someone who was actually being paralyzed by the idea of what was required of them if they took on a certain term. And each and every one of us work and help and heal, whether that's our title or not, in our own specific way. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy this full moon, and as always, be well.